October 2022, Coinbase provides day one support of the Aptos network through custody, staking, and developer tooling. Coinbase is making it easy to use and build on the Aptos blockchain from day one. Coinbase has been a thorn in the side of the XRP community and the Flare network launch, being the only exchange to not agree to the 2-week release of Flare tokens from the 2020 snapshot in December 12th, 2020. What's interesting, though, is they claim that they need time to integrate. Meanwhile, they've had 2 years to do this. But let's look right here. So what are they saying? And then what have they done? So October 2022, Coinbase provides day one support of the Aptos network through custody, staking, and developer tooling. Coinbase is making it easy to use and build on the Aptos blockchain from day one. Developers can build powerful applications on Aptos using Coinbase's Cloud's enterprise node product. Institutional token holders can stake their tokens with Coinbase Cloud or safely custody with Coinbase Prime. We're excited to make Web3 more accessible for consumers, businesses, and developers around the world. And then get this, they write, by working with innovative networks like Aptos. So Flare is as innovative, if not more innovative. They're a different network than Aptos, but Aptos is a very big network. So just to get everyone caught up on what Aptos is the Libra project in DM. The former developers, this is founded by them. They raised over $400 million in the last 6 months prior to launching. And guess who happened to be an investor in Aptos? Coinbase. And also, guess who led their recent round before launching? FTX, Alameda, Binance also invested, A16Z. So you had all these huge VCs coming in. They all got tokens too. There was no lead up to it. There was no decentralization of the network. There was a very quiet launch, and then the tokens were just out there. And all these exchanges, all these big VCs, then sold onto the market. So if it's regulations or something like that they claim's holding, an airdrop back from being released, Flare is live before the token distribution event. The network is decentralized before the token distribution event. And the governance is going to be in place. There was none of those for Aptos, and Coinbase supported day one. So I think this is a slap in the face to the XRP community, and it's greed of Coinbase for saying that they can't get ready day one. Well, they seem to be more than ready day one with Aptos, and that was not in the works for 2 years. Now, they also were part of the DM Association, so they had familiarity with the Move programming language, which is Aptos' big claim to fame and allows them to scale very high. Now, they have some great technologies, different than Flare. So this is one of the other big networks they're going to be launching. But the integration for an Aptos for an exchange is much more difficult than integrating Flare. Flare is like integrating Ethereum. It's the EVM, and you have FLR token in place of ETH. There's plenty of EVM networks that are very easy to integrate. They're used to that. Now, Aptos takes a lot more work. Coinbase just happened to have experience in that because they were in the association. But they still had 2 years to do this. So there's really no excuse here. And when it comes to regulations, they had no problem taking the tokens and then selling them. Now that's a little speculation, but nobody had any tokens, so where'd they come from? And there's $1 billion in trading in the first week. The first week. And there was questions about the VC's vesting periods, and they figured it out all right afterwards. Meanwhile, we have a set plan which has had some changes, but they've been known well in advance. Not, hey, we go into the launch and we'll just release and see what happens and we'll go under the radar. And meanwhile, they had all these big VCs investing. Flare is the exact opposite in the fact that we're going to distribute it to the community that already exists. Aptos token was distributed to all these big exchanges, all these big VCs who get it at a dirt cheap price. And Coinbase wants to say up to 6 months. That is a slap in the face to the community. And this is unacceptable because you have no problem doing it for what you're invested into. But when it comes to a whole community, which we're in the middle of bear market, the XRP community is enormous, the amount of people that claim there. So from a business point of view, it makes absolutely zero sense. So there were many that were worried that the price will tank when the vesting period sees tokens unlocked on a regular basis in the coming months and years. So Aptos is a new layer 1 solution aimed to compete with the likes of Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Polkadot, Binance, and others. Built by former Meta employees, which is Facebook, it was developed in early 2020 and attracted more than $400 million in investment from crypto exchanges and venture firms. And it was led by FTX literally a month before. So they want to support that. And they didn't just support like releasing it and offer trading. They went over and beyond here. I mean, we're talking they have 2 ways to institutional custody, through self-custody, institutional. They offer node enterprise services. They offer staking. They offer everything, like all the bells and whistles. And they rolled out the red carpet for that. But meanwhile, they can't do a simple integration for Flare and a whole community that has been waiting for 2 years. So if you're a Coinbase customer, this should really annoy you. It annoys me, and I don't even have on Coinbase, but I feel the frustration. And when I saw this, I was actually shocked. I could not believe that they didn't just support, they just went so over and beyond the integration to do so much that you can't do so little now for a large community that's waiting. We're going to get clarity, and XRP is going to make a tremendous amount of noise, and they're going to make a ton of money, and they're not making the same type of money they were making during the bull phase. It's still a business, and it's a public company. So there's some other things that's to know about Coinbase that I don't think is really well known. It kind of surprised me. So this is from their blog, we often talk about phases of crypto and our strategy to help the industry reach 1 billion users. So, they want to help the industry reach 1 billion users, but they want to just, delay everything for probably one of the largest communities. But these days, it's easy to get distracted by industry news and forget why we made the leap into crypto in the first place. And everything Flare is doing is trying to help the industry with Web3, with interoperability. But here's where I think there's another possible reason. I'm speculating there, but you come up to your own conclusion. We want to help drown out the noise and bring focus back to our long-term crypto strategy and investment in Web3. Many people focus on Coinbase's centralized exchange as a way to invest in crypto. But behind the scenes, Coinbase has been heads down building a crypto as an app platform and supercharging key building blocks in Web3. Here are some highlights that demonstrate our commitment to building for this space. So they're building basically components like the staking, like the node infrastructure. And then this app platform, they also had a partnership with ENS to create their own like pay string type of identity, which those things will all be interoperable anyway with the domain names. But the fact that they're saying we want to support Web3, we want to support the growth of the industry, but then on the other hand, you want to come over here and say, no, it'll be within the first half of the year at some point when we get around to it. Meanwhile, you have the largest airdrop in the history of crypto. That is not up for debate. That's a fact. There's nothing even comes remotely close. Now, yes, Coinbase isn't used to being told, oh, well, this is the date it's going to be released. They just do it whenever they want. But you could see when they have an interest or vested interest in something, they go over and beyond. So this is a unique situation, and it's monumental, actually, because the amount of exchanges that are supporting, they are the only one. So we can't say, oh, it's this grouping, or, they're not going to release because these ones didn't. It's only them who are playing that. Because they've agreed to release. That's not the issue. It's we're going to take our sweet time doing it, and it takes a lot of time to integrate and this and that. Now, some could argue, and I guess this is a reasonable argument. I still don't know. It doesn't make really much sense, but that they're waiting for the case to end with XRP. Now, the thing is, Flare is not connected to XRP in any way. The price of XRP, I saw a couple of discussions on that. That's irrelevant to Flare's launch. It has nothing to do with Flare. The price of XRP go to 1 cent. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Or it could go to $10. Doesn't matter. It's just the user's accounts that are receiving the airdrop from the snapshot. There's no other connection to XRP there for the token generation event. Flare has explicitly went out of their way to design a network launch that's decentralized, already proven with a Canary network with Songbird, and has professional validators and has a process for integrating then all the FTSOs to decentralize even further. So that's a non-issue. How many networks you see launch decentralized? Very, very few. There's only been a handful. And how many protocol tokens come out and just get issued that Coinbase has launched? This is a layer 1. We need to start separating, and the industry does, these issued assets and dApp tokens and protocol tokens, governance tokens, from layer 1s. There's a difference. Layer 1s mean there's validators on the network that come to consensus and validate the transactions. Everything else is an issued asset. So this is why 99% of tokens in general are not going to disappear, because the layer 1s are going to get bigger and more tokens are going to be issued. Now, how many more waves of layer 1s are we going to have launched? That, I think, will start to come to a slowdown. But this is like the final probably wave of the advanced, like, I guess you call them 4th generation blockchains, where like Flare's integrating protocols into it and then specialized dApps that built for the network to start with 2 Oracle systems. So that's more advanced than anything we've seen before. Now, Aptos is going in a different direction. Aptos has the Move programming language, and they separate the execution from the consensus, and it supposedly scales to 160,000 transactions per second. But on day 1 when they launched, there were 4 transactions the first day. So obviously there were not a very big anticipation going into that. Yes, they did $1 billion in trading in the first week, but all the exchanges, Binance, FTX, Coinbase, A16, Jump Capital, they all got tokens. So they were able to then sell those onto the market, make markets provide liquidity, and then they drove up the hype and people come in and buy. Now, I don't want to have anything against Aptos. Honestly, the network I think is going to be good for the ecosystem. It's supposedly scales really high, and we want to see competition and other networks. Not everything's going to run on Flare or XRP. The whole idea is connect everything, right? And Hugo's mentioned Aptos, so I don't want it to be a negative really on Aptos. And yes, they did things differently than Flare, and they went the exchange VC route and raised. I still don't understand what you need $400 million to build a blockchain for. Flare did that with 11 million, and whatever Ripple invested initially, which was undisclosed, and they're able to scale out. Now, this also has the stigma of the DM, so you'd think there would have been attention on that from the whole Meta project and what that caused when that came out in 2019. So Coinbase obviously didn't have any problem doing it, releasing. So the regulation thing and they're scared, I don't know. It's just doesn't seem like it. Now, I'm not going to speculate on anything else. I just wanted to let the community know this is what Coinbase just did in October. They rolled out the red carpet and said, here you go, we're going to offer every possible integration that we can for this other network that has no existing community. I mean, they had some developers because Libra was in the pipeline and DM, so there were some familiar with it, but Aptos and then Sui, which is like a sister network, it's different developers, totally different project, but uses that Move programming language, just launched recently too. So Coinbase went all out of their way, bent over backwards for this, but they can't do the least and just release. They don't even need to offer the trading or offer FTSO integration. They just need to release to their customers, the XRP community, which is the largest claimants of this airdrop. And I wouldn't beat yourself up for being on Coinbase, but I hope everyone learned a lesson that self-custody. We're going to have more tools to have better self-custody in the future. But I understand back in 2020, I know a lot of people moved from like Nano Ledger to Coinbase just for the snapshot, and you can't go back in time. So it's not worth it to beat yourself up over. But Coinbase agreed to this publicly, and they had ample time. We all know they've had ample time. So they could do this and just tell us, oh yeah, we'll get around to it. But look what you did 2-3 months ago. So I think they need to answer for that. I'm Mickey B. Fresh, and I'm out.